It doesn't matter if you're Dunk,
An unbelievable clutch to keep his team in it!
or if you're just another average Joe playing the game.
Fucking perfect flash at me.
Anyone who cares even a little bit about Counter-Strike or whatever competitive game you're playing can experience tilt. In this video, I'm going to break down what I consider to be the two main causes of tilt and what you can do to pull yourself out of these negative headspaces. Before we jump right into things, I want to clarify that I'm not a guru or a Zen master, but I wanted to share some information that I found helpful and some tools you can use to prevent yourself from getting too angry, too emotional about the game. The first and more straightforward reason as to why you may be tilting is because of your teammates.
Green, what's your problem, Green? What is your problem? Missile alone ramp. Missile alone ramp.
You've heard it, I've said it. Things like, our teammates are so stupid, our teammates can't do anything, if they just did this, if they just did that. A good tool to keep in mind when this sort of mentality arises is what you might have heard other creators refer to as the 60-20-20 rule.
60-20-20 rule in Deadlock?
The 60-20-20 rule.
The 60-20-20 rule.
In all of your ranked games, in about 20% of them, you're going to win no matter what. In about 20% of them, you're going to lose no matter what. The other 60% is what you should actually be focusing and devoting your energy towards. You actually have an impact in these games, and the agency you have in the game, the decisions you choose to make, will greatly impact whether you win or lose the game. Speaking from my own experience, I've had games where I was playing horribly, but my teammates were much better than the other team, and we won anyway. I've also had games where I was fragging out, but my teammates were not performing well, they were playing pretty bad, or the other team was just better. Obviously, you don't know which percentage you're going to be in the middle of the game. You should always try. But sometimes if you are just getting absolutely dumpstered, you might just have to take that state-mandated loss. The key to coming back from this kind of tilt is acknowledging what you did wrong during these rounds. It doesn't help to blame little Timmy over there, whatever he might be doing on the other side of the map. You could have been out of position, your recoil could have just sucked, your crosshair placement could have been off. Even if you are right blaming your teammates, it's not going to help, and you need to figure out what you could have done better in order to win the round. The second, much more common and much more complex reason that you might be tilting is because of yourself. I want you to imagine that you have two selves fighting each other for control of you. Inside of you, there are two wolves. Your first self is what you consider to be you. It's your conscious self. It's what comes up with tactics, with plays, with ideas of how to win the round, and generally what you associate with what it means to be alive. Your second self, your unconscious self, is still very much you, but most of us don't really consider that part of ourselves as us, even though it is still very much a part of ourselves. You can also think of this as our muscle memory. When you tilt because of yourself, you're tilting because your two selves, your unconscious self and your conscious self, are having a miscommunication about what you want to do and how you're going to accomplish that. Most often this is happening because your conscious self, your self one, is being way too loud, being too active, and it is disappointed in whatever your self two is doing. This might happen, for example, on a spray or a flick where you just completely miss. For me, when this happens, my conscious self, my self one, can kind of try and override my unconscious self, my self two, where it's like, I know how to aim better, and it tenses all the muscles in my arms, and it really tries to aim in such a way where really that sort of thing should be controlled by my unconscious self, but my self one, my conscious self, thinks it knows better. This leads you to being out of the zone or out of the typical flow of play that is happening in the round of Counter-Strike. What's interesting is that overconfidence can also lead you to being out of the zone. It sets this level of expectation onto yourself where you're thinking, I should be getting 1 or 2 or however many kills or damage this round, and anything that falls below those standards activates your self one, and you start to wonder what went wrong, why is this happening? What makes this kind of tilting so complicated, so complex, is that the only way to really overcome this kind of tilt is to cast aside the judgments that your conscious self is placing onto your muscle memory, onto your unconscious self. That can be really hard to do because we're all human. We all get upset when things don't go the way that we want them to. The way to overcome this is to shift the mindset of your self one, of your conscious self, away from judging and being harsh of the actions of your self two. Instead of being critical, being judgmental of those actions, you need to become observational about what's happening. Being observational about things doesn't mean that you're hiding from reality. It just means that you're not attaching the negative stigma of the judgment of yourself one onto yourself two. So that can look like, oh, in that situation, I moved my crosshair a little too far to the left. Instead of something like, my aim fucking sucks. Personally, I'm still pretty bad at this. I'm a little too harsh on myself, but keeping this in the back of my mind has been helpful in trying to pull myself back of being angry, of being tilted. What makes Counter-Strike, what makes all competitive games, all competition interesting and exciting is that there's this constant push and pull between your System 1 and your System 2 demanding your utmost attention, all the resources in your minds. Let me know what you think about all this, if any of this resonated with you, or if you have any new and creative insults you're going to be slinging at your teammates. I really appreciate all the support you guys gave on my last video. If you want to see more like this, be sure to like and subscribe. Get out of here.